The buffoonery, the buffoonery, the buffoonery. Hey y'all, hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello, cheerio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're gonna see if we get a few more people in here tonight. Thanks for hitting that like button. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for hitting that button. I appreciate it, y'all. The buffoonery continues, guys. The buffoonery continues. Hey Kim, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Hope things are going well. As you guys see, this face may be looking a little rough right now. I'm out in the thick of it. Out in the thick of it. Out in the thick of it. Um, they are finishing up my porch. So they did enough for me to be able to sit out on it and chill. So that's what I'm doing right now. Ruben Victor, hola, hola, from Mexico. So I'm out here just chilling. Michelle and Nicole, hey, hey, hey. You see what I'm rocking in? Yeah, hey y'all, hey, 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 hey. So, yeah, the buffoonery of it all. Y'all see, I'm not on my regular setup, so I can't pull up my videos and stuff like I usually do. So I'm just gonna have to talk. I'm cooking 800 meals for the home. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. That's what I'm talking about. That's some philanthropy for you right there. Bless those who bless others. Amen. Um, I got so tickled when I was looking at all the festivities and stuff that were going on today. I didn't come to you guys yesterday and talk about what was going on. Yes, I love Mexican food. I didn't get to talk about what was going on yesterday because I was like, yeah, they probably don't want to see me every day just coming back to back. So I said I'd take a little break, skip a little day, come on back. But the buffoonery was real. The buffoonery was real. Ruben, you're going to have to come and check me out. Tonight was a jambalaya day. Well, night for me, so I had some jambalaya. I made some jambalaya. And some biscuits. But I was looking. Cornbread, wow. Yeah, we love cornbread. I was looking and, you think that it's like just amongst us regular folks where we have drama with relationships, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, partners, significant others, whatever you may have going on. Y'all got to excuse the noise in the background. But when I was watching the trial today, I got so tickled because Johnny had one of his pieces, one of his old pieces. I'm ear hustling, y'all. So Johnny, like one of his pieces, took the stand today. And y'all know how sometimes how women can be. I'm gonna say us women, how we can be petty sometimes. And if we have an opportunity to go and say something, especially against somebody that we feel may have wronged us or whatever, then we might take that opportunity. Well, listen here, sister girl took that opportunity today. Okay, she came up there. She came up there and I'm looking in the comments and everybody like, who is that? She, doing her little deposition of what they like, Hopper, who this woman? Because, this is the person that people would typically think, a celebrity might deal with, and she got up there and she was like, yeah, we were friends. She said, but let me specify. Right, Hildeland, hey, how you doing? Let me specify. We weren't just friends. She said romantical. She didn't say romantic. She said we were romantical. I said, oh. She said we were romantical. Then she came and she said, excuse me, let me clarify. Let me clarify something. Let me say we were sexual. What? Huh? What was it? She said we were sexual. She said she wanted to get that straight. She said she was going to break it down so that it can forever and consistently be broke and nobody would have any questions. She said we were romantical and then we were sexual. That thing, y'all have to, man, I wish I would have went live on my live stream. Y'all, Hilda Land, I don't know if you heard it. Whoever was the attorney that was asking her the question started laughing. Like at the very beginning, even when she said that she had a relationship with him, like the attorney started laughing. I was like, did they realize that they just laughed on camera? Don't get me wrong. It's not she's not ugly or anything like that, but she doesn't look like Johnny's type. Y'all know everybody seem to have a type. And she put that thing out there. She was like, we were sexual. Any other questions? Like, this is how she put it out there. And I'm like, so Johnny had girl problems too. So what happened was, yes, they were, that thing tickled me. I was laughing. I was like, oh shoot. She was like, this was her moment. She was feeling like Marvin Sapp. You know, this is your season. Like this was her season to come out and say what she had to say. Like she'd been waiting a long time to say what she had to say. And Sister Girl came with it, and she had an attitude from the moment she said her name. She was not playing. She came with a plan and a purpose. Okay, if you're gonna come through here, come with a plan and a purpose. She came with a plan and a purpose. So you know, they're talking to her or whatever. I should have combed my hair back now, because then I probably look just like her, put some glasses on. But she came up there and she, you know, yes, we were dealing with each other. How often were you seeing each other? Maybe once a week until I moved to California or Hollywood. Okay, so how often were you saying, at this is after she let everybody know that they were sexual. Now she said we were sexual. Okay, so how often were you seeing each other once you were sexual? Because she said Johnny flipped things. He switched flipped the switch. And usually, you know, that's like you starting to act crazy when you flip the script, you know, the switch. No, she meant Johnny flipped it and he wanted to get all sexual and he wanted to intermingle and stuff. So, and she said once they became sexual, they started seeing each other 3 or 4 times a week. Well, dang, Johnny. Go, Johnny. I'm just saying. And basically, what I got out of it, if y'all saw it, y'all tell me if y'all think I got it all, you know, messed up or discombobulated or whatever. But she was basically saying that he was cool with her as long as she stayed in a different location. But once he got there and she moved like 10 minutes down the road. Oh, she had young Johnny. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was in the 90s. I guess he had the younger version of her too. So I mean, it would kind of make sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. She stayed further away. I think she was in another state, y'all. I don't know, but she moved closer. And once she moved closer, and you know, after she was visiting Johnny for a little bit, for a couple months, and it was like Johnny, he ain't want to fool with her no more. You know, Johnny got distant. Johnny seemed to ghost a lot of people. Johnny was ghosting before ghosting was ever a ghost. Okay, Johnny would ghost you. He was ghosting these people. So I guess Johnny ghosted her, and then like everything was kind of, you know. So she's 10 years older than him. Oh, okay, okay. So Johnny was like, Johnny didn't hold up his end of the deal. After 5 or 6 months, Johnny was like, you know, I'm done, son. And Johnny gonna have to realize that you can't be leaving these string of women around here, and you know what I mean. So she had her moment to come and say what she had to say, and she let them know Johnny was a drug user. He was doing everything he can get his hands on. He whatever he could I ain't gonna say that. Yeah, but she had her moment to come after Johnny. I got so tickled because that lady said, "No, let me clarify something. We were sexual." I don't know if at some point, because you know how some folks do, like they might deal with you and then they try to deny that they ever dealt with you. And I don't know if that was the case with her, that maybe at some point Johnny denied having some kind of dealings with her or whatever, but she made that clear. Okay? She made it clear one time for the one time, and for the people in the back that did not get it. Right. Next. But she, yeah. So Johnny, you know, some of these things, a lot of people like to think that they like black people problems. See, these ain't just black people problems right here, okay? That thing tickle me. And I'm like, at this particular point, okay, first of all, let me back up. Let me back up since I don't have the video footage here to show you guys. Okay, so let me back up. Today, all video. All video except for one person. Everybody else, they were depositions from 2019, 2021, early 2022. So it was a lot of stuff going on. Some of the people that were inside of the courtroom that were reporting, and they were looking at the jury and polling the jury, well, not verbally polling the jury, but they said that a couple of the jurors had actually went to sleep. They nodded off. They nodded off during the trial, and y'all, okay, okay. Usually, if you get caught nodding, you got to go. Okay, you go to sleep during the hearing, you got to go. They gonna get rid of you. They gonna bounce you. So if you ever want to get out of being on the jury, go to sleep. Go to sleep. But it was just all the testimonies, and they were kind of dull. And I mean, not even testimonies. Like I said, they were depositions. Um, One of the depositions that they had was with the detective that was over the domestic violence unit for LAPD. And, you know, they're talking about that situation that happened in May. Everything, you know, goes back to this situation, this big blow up that they had in May. Amber said he did all this and she had all these bruises and stuff on. He pulled out a chunk of hair, and both her eyes were supposed to be black, and like she had a lot of stuff going on. So they called the police. They had called the police to the apartment. Police came, two, a male and a female. They came, looked around. They saw Amber. Didn't see any bruises. They didn't press any charges. And then she was being cooperative as well. I don't know what they had going on, but they went, and after the police left, went about their business. They called the police again later. They called the police again later. So you had another pair of cops come, and they didn't see anything for them to press charges. Now, we talked about this the other night. Those of you that have, hopefully you haven't been in a domestic situation like that, but if you've seen it, if they have any type of evidence that there was some type of domestic altercation going on, and one got bruises and the other one don't, they taking the one that don't have that doesn't have the bruises. And whoever got the bruises, they're the victim. Even if you don't want to press charges, they're gonna press charges. Like, and y'all can figure that stuff out later. But right now, you got to go. So they didn't arrest him. What Amber's attorneys are trying to do is put it off, like throw it back on the police department and say that they should have pressed charges, even though Amber didn't want them to. So you had two different sets of police officers that came to that residence, went through the house, looked at her, talked to other people. And actually on the second time, it seemed like they didn't even want to let the people, was that the second time or the first time, on the body cam, they didn't even want to let the cops in the house in the first place so that they could come and look through. So they try to throw it back on the police department. Okay. Okay, so now go back to them having the young lady, the detective that's over the domestic violence unit. They showed her deposition today. And I don't know why. I don't know why in the world they thought that it was a good idea to show her deposition. Because what she had to say, it wasn't helpful. It didn't help them out at all. They tried to look like there was make it seem like there was some wrongdoings by the police department. They didn't do the right paperwork. They didn't file the right paperwork. But what it showed was you had 4 sets of eyes on 2 different occasions that came and looked at the place, looked at Amber, and didn't see any bruises. And they didn't see this place all torn up like, had been reported before. So to me, in their effort to try to make the police department look bad, you just made your client look even worse because you're showing that the cops actually did their jobs. They did their jobs. Like, I don't think they thought about that. And y'all, it was so funny. I got so tickled because people in the comments were like, why is the cop laughing? Why does she have that smirk on her face? Why is she doing all that? I'm going to jump out here and just take an educated guess for a minute. I'm thinking that she's sitting up there listening to this woman. Y'all know Auntie, because Auntie was asking the questions. She looking at Auntie and listening to Auntie like, I know this heifer. I know this heifer is not asking me about some domestic violence stuff and about my job. Like, how? You been a police before? How'd you? She sent them there like, I can't, like, really? Duh, really? That's kind of how she came off to me. Like, she was nice, she was cordial and all that stuff, but the laughs and the smiles and stuff, I think some other officers were in the room and they were laughing because the whole situation was ridiculous. Like, okay, you can go and blame this one and this one, but you saying nobody saw bruises? Nobody? Like, and the thing was, y'all, the people, whenever they went to the house, nobody, because they tried to say the cops like took up for Johnny. Y'all, Johnny wasn't there. Nobody knew who Amber was. They didn't know nothing about Amber Waves of Grain. Nobody knew who Amber was. So I don't know how in the world, you're going to spin it like that. People got to know you first. Like, they weren't taking up for Johnny because they didn't know that was Johnny's place. And even when the phone call was made to the police department, it wasn't even from her. It was from the male, one of her male friends. So, like, that just went completely out the window, too. Like, everything that they're trying to put out there, like, everything's going completely out the window. Like, Lord have mercy. So, I think it was yesterday. No, today. Okay, wait a minute. Who else they had come up there? So that was one. Then they also had, oh my goodness. They had so many depositions. They had basically like an IT guy come up there. Y'all remember Johnny's attorneys presented one guy that was a specialist that went back and, did the numbers and analyzed the meta data and all that stuff and was looking at, who was affected by the internet when the lawyer, when the lawyer came out and put information out or whatever. So they had another specialist, expert from Amber's side that he was the one that testified in person, as a matter of fact. He was the only one that testified today. Johnny's lawyer, the one that actually was going back and forth with people on social media about Amber and put Amber on blast. Okay, first of all, let me tell you how serious this thing was, because they knew what time it was. When he had his deposition, the lawyer had a lawyer. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's what you do. The lawyer had a lawyer. And the lawyer's lawyer was telling the lawyer when he didn't need to answer certain questions, even though he already knew he wasn't supposed to answer it. But they played the game. I'm just going to say that. They played the game. And I thought that was hilarious because Auntie was asking, like, they were trying to ask all kind of questions or whatever. And I can't think of the guy. But they kept trying to ask questions from Amber's side. And the lawyer was like, don't answer that. You've been instructed not to answer that. You've been instructed not to answer that. You've been instructed not to answer that. Attorney-client privilege. You've been instructed not to answer that. And so they were trying to come back 5 different ways to ask the same question, and they got shut down at every corner. And I got so tickled because they knew what they were doing before they did that deposition. They knew that those people couldn't ask. You can't ask that man. He ain't got to answer nothing for you when it's pertaining to his client. He ain't even got to acknowledge that they got any kind of relationship. Once, listen, attorney-client privilege. You need to know attorney-client privilege. Stop. Attorney-client privilege. What you say? Attorney-client privilege. Like, that's how it was. I got so tickled. But in the midst of all that, it came out that Johnny's attorney actually went and he kind of, I guess you could say, he filed charges against Amber. Like, he went and put papers. Let me not say filed charges. He went and put papers on Amber for committing perjury. he went and put papers on Amber for lying. Okay, he put papers on Amber. That man was all at the police department talking to the desk guy, getting all kind of information, and they tried to get him to take that back. Now he ain't denied that. He's like, yeah, I talked to the desk guy. Who was that? I don't know. The desk guy. Who was that? I don't know. The guy at the desk. Like, that's y'all, it was funny because I'm like, y'all are really wasting y'all time because they literally asked some of the same questions over and over again. Like, you gonna get a different answer. This man is an attorney just like you are. He know how this stuff goes. You think like, they're hoping like in the midst of all this, he might answer something. He might answer something. So she is now under investigation by LAP. When I tell you I was rolling, I was flipping rolling. I said, you know what? They like cut her off at every corner. So, oh Jesus. So they had that, and it was something else that happened with him. I might have to come back to him, but it was something else that happened with him that I found funny. Yeah, she got cases everywhere now. Shoot, right? She got cases everywhere. So you had them. I think she had one credible witness. That was yesterday. Actually, some of the witnesses today, they were actually credible, but they weren't necessarily the depositions that they did. They weren't in favor of Amber because these people were actually subpoenaed. They didn't come do those depositions by choice. They were subpoenaed and they had to do the deposition. So they talked to one of Johnny's former therapists, and I think he was pretty credible. He didn't go and try to hurt Johnny, and I respected the fact that from a clinical standpoint, he was trying to protect his client. So there were a lot of things, and I'm glad that he wrote his notes the way that he wrote it, because they were like, well, read this and read this. And there were some things he's like, yeah, I don't really know what I wrote, or I don't know what I meant by that. And he didn't try to go into any deep explanations or whatever, because they ain't none of y'all business. I mean, at the end of the day, this is man personal medical stuff. That ain't none of y'all business. So they had that. So he was actually pretty good. They had all these other people. They had Amber's talent agent that was up there. I think yesterday they had like her acting coach that was up there. It was like, y'all, they calling everybody except the dogs. And the dogs may be coming up Monday. I don't know. They might be calling the dogs because there was a question about whether or not the dogs actually pooped in the beds. But somebody said that one of the dogs wasn't big enough to get up the stairs, and so the dogs might be coming. They might be testifying on Monday. I'm not sure. I don't know if they're gonna have a dog whisperer there to interpret what's going on at this point with the way stuff going. You're liable to see anything. I don't know. So, oh my goodness. There was Amber's sister, Miss Whitney. Okay. Whitney went and said that Johnny hit her, and he hit her with the Red Bull can. And let me say this. let me say this. Let me say this. I ain't saying that Johnny innocent in all this, because I think that with Johnny using that stuff, Johnny can be a handful. Let me say this. So we ain't gonna take that away from Johnny. Johnny ain't getting off scot-free on this now. Johnny ain't getting off scot-free because I heard enough to know that he could flip out. He could act a donkey now. I got enough out of hearing all this stuff. Like, in between, there's some truth up in there somewhere. You've been acting a donkey. And based on the stuff that you told your therapist, you know, you could show your tail. Now, what does that equate to you actually putting your hands on somebody? That's a different story. But you can definitely show your tail. So we ain't going to overlook that, Johnny. You got to claim that one, Johnny. But going back to the sister Whitney, she went and she told her story about what happened. Y'all, her story didn't even match Amber's story. Right. Right. Her story didn't even match Amber's story. And so let me tell you what happened. And we're gonna see how this stuff turns out, because the lady, I don't know if you guys remember when the sister was testifying, there was something that she said that Johnny got upset with her because Johnny said that she was selling some of their stories, leaking their stories to the media. I believe that. I absolutely believe it. She didn't seem like she had a lot going on, and she just stayed like she kept staying with people. So the day that this whatever this happened took place, Johnny was like, look, you're not gonna be standing up in my spot and you going telling my business and selling stories to people, and you stand up in here like. So he told her that, he put an NDA on the table. Look, you need to sign this non-disclosure agreement, because you ain't gonna be standing up in here telling my business and think you gonna keep living here rent free. Basically, that's how this stuff went down. And so she said she doesn't remember signing it. She don't think she signed it. To me, that means you signed it, because you know whether or not you signed something. So can't see nothing back here. So he had her try to get her to sign the NDA, and she said shortly after that she left. She didn't say how long. I don't know if shortly mean a couple months after that, whatever. But then she went and stayed with this other lady named Jennifer, and they were supposed to be really close, and they worked together and did some other stuff. But she said Jennifer was around, and she told Jennifer this stuff and da da da. Well, look here. After Jennifer found out that she was saying all this stuff and then put her name in it, Jennifer done contacted the courts, and she done wrote an affidavit and let them know somebody's lying. This lady's lying, because this is not the same story that she told me. This is not what she told me happened with her and Johnny. She told me that Amber hit Johnny. Bam. See, that's what you get for putting people's name up and stuff. That's why I tell people, mind your business. Mind your business. That lady said, no. No. So we gonna have to find out whether or not she gonna end up showing up. Like, she gonna be a little ram in the bush for them at the end. And now she's tweeting stuff, telling people that, if y'all backing this stuff or going along with this, y'all need to think again. Don't be playing with the devil's spawn. That's basically what she was saying. So things have definitely gotten interesting for Amber. But see, that's the thing. If you keep lying and putting stuff out there to hurt people, okay? You know they got that saying, when you keep playing childish games, you win childish prizes. Yeah. So we're going to see what happens with this, because that lady said, now, once you put my name in it, now we got a different story. Miss Jennifer say, you ain't going to put my name in no lies that you got going on. Like that, that's it, that's all. Now that's it, that's all. That's enough. So now you got a whole other situation that is taking place around this, because people just want to lie. Now you got Amber saying he hit her, Whitney saying he hit her. What's the child name? Johnny saying that she hit him, and Jennifer saying, like, whose lie is it anyway? Like, that's kind of where we at with this whole thing. So that's another piece to the puzzle. Yesterday, the makeup artist also testified. She testified yesterday. She was probably, out of the actual witnesses that they had, she was the most credible one. Um, but still, at the end of the day, everyone that they had to get up on that stand, and even in those depositions, everyone said that they never saw him get physical with her, even act like he was going to get physical with her. So that's something that has been consistent amongst everybody that has testified, whether they were for Amber or against Amber. Like that has been consistent that they haven't seen that. And the thing is they kept harping on his drug use and stuff like that. But here's the deal with that. They talked about how out of control he would be. So here's the deal with that. If he's that out of control when he's using drugs or when he's drinking, when he's drunk, then do believe that if he can't control his other behaviors while he's spiraling or while he's the monster, then that means that he can't control, or that he shouldn't be able to control, hiding the fact that he hit this woman. Because if anything, he should still be just as hyped up. And if he's doing all this other stuff while he under the influence and he's this monster, then I don't see him being able to control himself just for this one thing when he can't control nothing else. Because if you're going and acting a fool like that, you don't say, "Ooh, well, let me stop because I don't want to let them see me hit her or do this to her." Like, you too far out of, you too far gone for that. So when you think about what they're saying, it really doesn't make sense to say that he lost all control and he's just doing all this stuff, and as much cocaine as they say he was snorting, like, how much control did he have? That's another thing I want to talk about. Okay, this is one of my main problems with this, and that's what I'm telling y'all. Like, I can't come at this from a clinical standpoint. I just want to talk about it for a minute. The issue with the substances. I have a real issue with all these people calling him just an abuser, and he a pothead, he a crackhead, like he all kinds of heads, and they got so much to say about his use, and all of them use it. Like, y'all, all, like, everyone. Oh, well, did y'all smoke cocaine? Smoke cocaine. Did y'all snort cocaine together? Yeah, like it's nothing. Did I not get the memo? Is using cocaine just like drinking water now? Like, I don't know, cause it's like there's, oh yeah, we just did a little cocaine. We just, yes, they all. Oh, did y'all ever do drugs together? Yeah. How many times? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Well, can you guess? Oh, I really don't know. I don't know. Was it more than 5? Yes. Was it more than 10? Yes. You know, you was up there doing this stuff just as hard as he was. So I'm sitting up here and I'm like, and again, Amber, she used cocaine, MDA, mushrooms, alcohol, and I'm pretty sure she was over there smoking on that marijuana. She was taking that cannabis in too. How in the world are we sitting here pointing the fingers because you feel like, well, I do drugs, but I don't do them as bad as he doing now? I mean, I'm a druggie, but he's a druggie. Like, no, no, no. I have an issue with that because it was just about everybody that got up on the stand that was close to them, all of them were drug users. I don't get me wrong, I'm not judging them, but I'm like, how are you judging him? Like, this what we doing? This what we doing? Um, Hill. Okay, even the financial manager that didn't file his taxes for 17 years was taken. Here's the thing with that financial manager too, and this is where I say his Amber's attorneys actually they played the game with this one and it worked, because what they did was they took the people that used to work with him that he separated himself from. Um, they seemed like they were okay with Johnny from the beginning, like when they first started talking, until the attorney dropped the bomb on him. Well, why are y'all no longer talking? I don't know. Well, did you know that in the deposition, Johnny said that you were stealing from him? Did you know that in the deposition, Johnny said that you didn't file his taxes for 17 years? Did you know that in the deposition, Johnny said that you were a backstabber and that you were sitting there talking about him to other people? That's what they did. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but then those people's whole demeanor, every single one of them, their demeanor changed. And then all of a sudden it was, bump Johnny. Oh, that's what he said? How long was, oh, he said that? Oh, yeah? Oh, well, he had a anger problem. There was so much rage. Like, they started coming with it from that financial guy, um, one of the guys that he used to be in the band with, and he used to date his sister. Johnny's old talent, his old agent, like they got every single one of them like that, and they were so strategic with it. So to that extent, they did an excellent job with that because it worked. It worked. They were like, yeah, Johnny's a good guy. He's fun to be around, and da da da. And then the next thing you know, well, did you know that Johnny said, oh yeah, that's what he said. Oh, that's what he said. Y'all know, that's what he said. Well, let me tell you about Johnny. That's kind of how the stuff when everything just switched up like really quick. So I guess they saw that worked on one or two, and that's the thing that they decided to go with. They decided to stick with that because it was working. I mean, it worked. It worked. So when it came to those things, Johnny didn't stand a chance. Johnny didn't stand a chance. Now, mind you, because there was a lot of stuff that was cut out. So it could have been that they let them hear the audio from Johnny. I'm not sure. To actually confirm that it was something that was said, but at least on the part that was made available to the public, it didn't sound like they ever heard him say that. They were going off what the attorney said. And so that was definitely, they did it with that one. We ain't gonna lie, they did it with that one. They definitely did it with that one. The makeup artist that said to me for their, she the only one? She was the only one of their witnesses that I think was pretty credible. But even with what she was saying, she kind of slipped up from the beginning too, because she said that she saw Amber and Amber had both of her eyes were dark. Underneath she had a little bruise, like, right on the bridge of her nose. And she said that it looked like she might have been head-butted lightly. How in a Sam Hill can you look at somebody, unless they got a big knot right here on the head that said headbutt, how can you look at somebody and say, yeah, you look like you've been headbutted? So she said that from the beginning, and then at the end when she was cross-examined, she had to go back and, clear that up. Well, I know I said headbutted, but yeah, I shouldn't have said that because I don't know where that came from. Because ultimately everything, this lady being bruised, it came from her. And here's the problem with that. And y'all, I got to switch over because I can't see nothing. So hold up. Hold on, y'all. We're going to do a little switch up. Yeah. So everything, so everything that, all the information that they had about her being injured or where some bruises may have come from or whatever, everything came from Amber. So nobody really had any real information about what happened other than what she said. So just by watching this trial, we know that she likes to tell stories. Just by watching this trial, we know that she likes to tell stories. Okay, y'all can see me now. I'm out here looking crazy. So when it comes to people being credible, they may be telling the truth when they say what Amber told them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that what she told them was the truth. So that's one of the things that really is hurting their case. Everything that Johnny's team did was solid, completely solid. So everybody came with the same thing. And like I say, even with Amber's people, some of Amber's people came and confirmed some of what Johnny's people said when they were on the stand. Johnny's team actually had people come up on the stand. And when you're in court, not saying that these, visual and virtual depositions and testimonies won't be, that they're not effective, but they are not as effective as having someone there in person, in the flesh. So that's a little bit different. And at this point, it's like Amber and her, they are grasping at straws. They are definitely grasping at straws, because just about everybody that was up there today, they all said that Johnny left them alone. Like, they were real close. Even the guy that was in the band with him, he actually seemed like he was a little hurt about, like he was a little upset that him and Johnny weren't close anymore. He said like Johnny just kind of, the agent just got a letter from Johnny. Okay, your services are no longer needed. Just different people, they getting letters. Your services are no longer needed. And for me, because it all happened around the same time, they were like, yeah, the agent said, yeah, he just basically got rid of everybody. To me, my first thing would be, he may not have had the money to pay all y'all. Because, the guy had already said that they had to go and get him a loan and all this stuff. And you got people that were making $10,000 a day. You had people that were making over $100,000 a month. So if he wasn't making the movies the way that he used to make the movies, then that would lead me to believe that maybe he just didn't have the money to pay y'all. So he started cutting back because he knew that he couldn't live that lifestyle like he was living before, because he wasn't making the same money that he was making before. I mean, that would make sense to me, but who am I? You know what I mean? Like, the other thing with Amber's agent that was up there, y'all, they talked about Amber being in Justice League. Y'all, I watched Justice League. I didn't know no Amber. I don't remember her from the movie. I honestly don't. I don't. And they were like, everybody knows her. When they see her, they know. No, they don't. Or maybe you mean, okay. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because if she sat down beside me and even told me what her name was, I'd still be like, who? What was it? Who? I don't know. I don't know. And then they talked about Aquaman being one of the best-selling films ever. Like, it was one of the best films ever. I don't know nothing about no Aquaman. And I know I don't represent the masses, but I didn't hear people talking about Aquaman like that. Like, when Justice League, came, Black Panther came, you got all these different things coming. Like, we heard about that stuff and we were running because we wanted to go see it, I didn't get that memo. So that's how they're trying to justify, because, Amber is countersuing. You know what I mean? She countersuing for $100 million. there has to be some type of justification. There has to be some type of rationale for you asking for a certain amount of money. What about your situation constitutes you? Like, what you got going on that would make you feel like them saying that you made up the whole story in May? What makes you think that that's worth $100 million? Like, where would you have gotten $100 million from, Gary? Inquiring minds want to know. So the agent said after she did Aquaman that because of Johnny, she wasn't getting all these endorsements and different roles that she should have been getting on TV shows and movies. And maybe that's because she wasn't that memorable, because I don't remember her. I don't. I guess my thing is she got all that in the divorce. So I'm like, what is the problem? And I mean, ultimately, like, she didn't have to go and put that information out there about him. She didn't. She did it out of spite. She did it to be petty. So I mean, my thing is, you want it to be petty, then you pay the petty price. You know, you could have left that man alone and went about your business. Because y'all were no longer together. And, I mean, just go about your business. You know, leave people alone. Now, I want to get back on Johnny for a minute. Because like I said, I did listen to what his former clinician had to say about him and what he had going on, and listen to his notes. I agree, Hill. I agree. It didn't have anything to do with him. They started looking at her behaviors. I agree with that. I definitely agree. Johnny has a lot of issues. Johnny has a lot of issues, and he has a long history of abusing substances. Like, ridiculous. And it's a blessing that he's still in his right frame of mind, and I don't know how his health is, but he seems, you know, like he's okay. But he definitely has to deal with that, because one of the things that they're able to throw back at him or to hang over his head is the fact that he was an ongoing substance user. And in Hollywood, he was supposedly known as the bad boy, you know, that was all in the drug, you know, arena, and he was known for using all types of drugs, and that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, because you do have times where people are saying, okay, when he was on this, he acted this way. And even the people that, you know, that were there for him, that loved him, you can kind of tell, you know, they didn't want to say that he was violent, and I don't think he's a violent person, but when you're using that much and in that excess, there are definitely going to be some behavior issues going on. Again, not saying that you're going to necessarily be violent, but you're giving people ammunition to use against you, especially when you got certain situations where people can say, you know, yeah, he was high and this was going on. And I know all that stuff with him coming late to rehearsals and coming late to the set. Yeah, that was all like that went along with the drug use. Like, all that went together. Even him in that situation with Amber, staying in that situation with Amber, even getting in that situation with Amber. Because, and this is the thing I fought both of them for, because y'all supposedly had some of this physical stuff, a lot of this violent, if you want to say. Y'all had this stuff going on before y'all got married. Why did you get married? When you were already fighting and fussing and doing all this stuff, it sounded like they had more bad days than good. And this is before they ever tied the knot. They couldn't even make it through the weekend on the island that they got married without getting into a big altercation. So why did you get married? Both of